Kentucky. So they draft Jerome, they bring Jerome in. Of course, I don't like Jerome, because he's going to take my starting job. I ain't got no home to go to. My mom was living in a trailer because of Hurricane Andrew. I'm thinking, I got to make this team. I can't get cut. They just brought this guy in and paid me $2 million. So he's going to play in front of me. But the one thing about Jerome, Jerome ain't want to be no fullback. That's too much hard work. Too much hard work. Jerome didn't want to run into nobody full speed every play for the rest of his life. He was smart. He was smart. Now he played a little fullback, and somehow he tweaked his ankle, during camp before he wanted to play fullback. And so they moved him to tailback, But my claim to fame is I beat him out. I beat him out. I made him a backup, so he decided to move to tailback, and then he took the other guy's job, And it's so crazy how we ended up in Pittsburgh, because the first game he started, it was against Pittsburgh Steelers. And Jerome goes through, we run an ISO play, boom, I hit this guy. Jerome will come through, run a 50-yard touchdown, boom. I'm like, man, this thing gonna be good. So after that happened, it was Tim and Jerome's show. And Jerome, rushed for like 1,700 yards, going to the Pro Bowl, taking me with him. Bought me Rolex watch, really took good care of me. He's a great friend, a great guy. He made me really motivated about playing football and stuff. Even though I blame all my injuries on him, every last one of them. Because I was blocking for him every play that I got injured. And so I played on with the Rams. I ended up going to Pittsburgh in '95, have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And they called me and they said, well, we thinking about getting Jerome Bettis. The Rams, the Pittsburgh Steelers said, we want to talk to you about Jerome Bettis. I said, what you want to know? And they was questioning his character and stuff like that. I was like, what? I said, that's one of the best guys you ever met. I mean, he's one of the friendliest guys. He's a locker room guy, a great guy, and stuff like that. So they do the trade, and they trade to get Jerome. So me and Jerome back together again. And so Jerome comes in, and now I'm the bus driver, he the bus and stuff, and we started this thing, and we played together for about 4 more years in Pittsburgh and stuff. And during those years in Pittsburgh, playing fullback is a tough job, and every play was a full-speed collision. I had a lot of injuries, So when I retired in 2000, I couldn't get that Toradol injection that I used to get every week, to get me through the week. So I put on about 30 pounds in weight. I gained about 30 pounds. I was overweight. My knees were hurting real bad. My lower back, my neck, I was pretty beat up. I was actually walking with a cane, and so eventually I was always open-minded to trying natural stuff. And so I was doing a lot of research, trying to find something to keep from getting a knee replacement. Actually, I wanted to do knee replacement on both of my knees, but I felt I was too young. I think I was about 35 at the time. So I kept doing research, and never really found that thing I needed to get me there. So what I did, I just tried to work out, but it was tough because it was hard to train when you're in pain all the time. I mean, I was in so much pain that it really kind of kept me from working out, kept me from losing the weight I needed. I was like 280 pounds a year after I retired. So I put on like 30 pounds a year after I retired. So I went from there to actually being miserable. I mean, I was really, really frustrated. And I decided, I wanted to get into football coaching. But after I retired, actually, I started my nonprofit. And my nonprofit was a mentoring program where I tutored, mentored a lot of at-risk athletes and stuff. And I worked on that for a while. Then eventually I got into coaching. And if you ain't never coached, coaching requires a lot of standing. You really don't do much. You just kind of instruct kids, but you stand a lot. And with my knees being so bad, I couldn't really stand. So I eventually had to get it coaching up. And actually that was my passion and stuff like that. And so I had to give it up. And then so one day I moved to Georgia like 3 years. I moved to Georgia like 3 years ago. I'm looking for a new change of life, a new area, a new place. Not giving up coaching. I had said, okay, I'm done with coaching. I can't stand up. But what happened is that I go there, and the first school I go to, I'm taking my son Everett. I'm taking him to school to get him signed up, talking to the coaches about football. And one of the coaches knows who I am. I'm like, how do you know who I am? I'm Tim Lester, nobody, I'm just a guy that blocks for guys like Jerome Bettis and Emmitt Smith. I'm a nobody, right? So he comes up to me and he says, man, you Tim Lester. You know, he was from Cincinnati, so most guys from Cincinnati, they keep track of guys from Pittsburgh. So he was like, hey man, you want to coach? I'm like, nah man, I'm retired. He's like, man, we got this brand new facility. You know, we got good kids coming in. They're great academics. They're great in football. I'm like, man, you know, I'm done coaching. You know, I'm done coaching. And so I sucked it up since I was in a new town, didn't know nobody. You know, so I started coaching at Milton High School. And it was tough that whole year, you know, standing up and all the pain. So eventually I gave it up the next year, you know, and I came back the following year. I just started back coaching this year. And I have to give all that credit to Chews because, you know, with those Chews, they allowed me to do the things I needed to do, you know, and my heart was in the coaching. Really, I've been a football player, either you're going to be a broadcaster or a coach, or you're going to do something, you know, in that field. And I just felt great that I could do that, you know, and I got to give Dr. Freeman, Rob, all these guys a lot of credit for creating that product because it really kind of changed my life and gave me another life, you know. But more than anything, I took Chews, you know, when I started and I got into it. I'm one of those people who's hard to sell. Like I said, Eileen left it on my desk. It was on my counter probably for like a month. And she just kept coming back, kept coming back. So eventually my wife says to me, she says, didn't they say something about help kids focus? And I have an 18-year-old son. His name is Edward. And I said, yeah. I said, let's try it on Edward. You know, we're going to make him a guinea pig. So we give Edward the Chews, and he's been, you know, diagnosed ADHD. We give him the Chews. The first day he takes the Chews, he comes home, he was like, man, you know what? He said, I was able to focus and finish my work. And to me, I was like, what? And I knew he had problems finishing his work because he couldn't focus. So he was able to finish his work for the first time. So actually, he never knew what focusing was. So when he had the Chews, and my wife said, we got to look into this stuff. So my wife started getting emails from all his teachers saying how focused he was, and he's finishing his assignment, and we were like, what? Okay, let's look a little further. So she started taking it, my wife started taking it, her energy level went up, then I started taking it, you know, I was able to get back into the gym, start training. You know, I was able to lose about 35 pounds, which was amazing to me because I couldn't do none of the things I wanted to do. And it kind of worked out that way. So then I took the product from there and I took it to my dad. See, my dad's a health nut, and he's like real into the nutrition stuff and grows his own wheatgrass. He just kind of out there, you know. But I love my dad to death because he's gonna whatever it is, he's gonna break it down. He's gonna the numbers, the product, whatever. When it passed him, I know it's a great product. You know, so when I took it to him and he approved on it and he signed up because he's so tight. He's so tight. I mean, the man is tight, and I need to learn to be that way because he is so tight with his money. But it's not being tight; it's just being responsible, and he's just very responsible with his money. And so when he checked off on it, when he said, "Oh man, it's a great deal," you know, I said, "Man, it's a great deal." So I was all excited about it. And so I got him signed up. Then I went out to all my other family members and stuff and got them signed up. And then I started seeing the money in the business, and I was like, man, this thing look good. You know, I like it. So the product tastes great. You know, the kids loved it. And really, it wasn't even like I was selling. It was more like I was just talking to people about the product and talking to them about what it did for me, what it did for my family, and stuff like that. So it kind of like started to grow and stuff. And so, you know, after I got a few people under my belt, I went to Jerome, because Jerome's another guy. He's one of those guys that's analytical, want to look at every little thing about it. You know, he'll pain in the butt, you know. But you got to, you know, but if it's a great product, I really believe in the product, so I took it to him. I really was believing in the product, so I took it over there. I took the whole PowerPoint presentation, sat down with him and stuff, and walked him through it, and he looked at it, This thing he said, how you going to sell a lot of these things? This whole thing was like, can we sell thousands and thousands of these things? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I linked on the week. You know? And so I had to plan a trip to take Jerome down there to meet Dr. Freeman and Rob and stuff like that. And he went down and looked at the product. and the whole company, and it kind of worked out. He was already taking the product. I took him the product, and he was taking it. He never said nothing to me about it, but he kept asking for it. You know what I'm saying? You got some more of those chews? Got some more of those chews? And so I just kept feeding him the chews. I just kept feeding him. I didn't give up. You know, eventually he'll see something in it, you know. And but it was great because, you know, it gave me a chance to hook back up with Jerome, do some business after football, you know, and but it's definitely something that I love doing, and I love talking about it, and I love providing.